Hello again. Today we're going to have a go at making one of those pieces of interchangeable scenery. Let's see what we come up with. Got everything we need, a few pieces of paper. Ooh, that one's bright, isn't it? Need something to show me where the back is there. And I'm going to draw along the ballast line. Usually what I do is I push down like this. I don't know if you can see that, but there you can see where the rails are. And then I measure back from that. But in this instance, because the ballast is already there, I'm just going to draw along the ballast line. Like that. Why did I start there? Well, there's a gap there and there's a gap there. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to put a mark on the board though, so that I know when I cut along that line, that's where I'm going to be. I'm one of those that tries the on the Christmas paper and always tear it. I'm sorely tempted to do it here, but I just don't want to have to start all over again. Right. So that should go there. It does. Up against the ballast now. Come on. And you're still plenty far enough away from the train. I'm going to need some tape. I've cut that in a really funny place, haven't I? Let's do two pieces here. What I'm doing is marking around the bolts. So we'll just cut those out. We'll come along and correct this line in a minute. There's my pen again. Now I've marked the tunnel portal as well. Not quite right still. But this is the advantage of using paper. You just keep going until it is right, and if you screw it all up entirely, start again. Did you hear me trying to do a whooshy? You know it would end badly if I did. That's it. Somewhere there. Now we can tape the two pieces together. Is that in the right place? Yeah, sort of. Then at this end, we need another piece. Now then, just want to go up to the viaduct and not in front of it. It's very thin, isn't it? All right, so now what I'm doing is coming up with a back line. Really should use a square for this, but we'll get close without it. Piece of scrap ply. It's a bit of a strange shape, I will say. If we do it this way, there's a finished edge over there. Don't want it sticking all the way out there. Let's do this. Well, if you're going to use a template, you need to use the template and not merely use the template. Jigsaw battery. I just had 2 of those batteries go bad. I've had them a good long while, but you've seen me using one as a weight downstairs. What's that one? And had another one go bad. So that's 2, but they're both well over 10 years old. So I just had to buy some new ones. They're expensive. You can see why they sell the tools without the batteries. Now you were in a bit of a precarious place there, so I will put you somewhere you can see what I'm up to. You are clamped onto the clamp. You do have to put the battery on the back of the tool if you want it to work. I always take the batteries off if I'm changing blades. Well, that's one cut made and I've cut the notch. I'm just going to do the other side. You don't need to watch a jigsaw going by. If you want to see that, zoom, there you go. Now you saw me measure the height. I have a feeling these pieces will work for that. So I'm going to take these down with me. I can't find the little yellow piece I cut. I dropped it somewhere, I expect. Well, we're back. Don't need the tape anymore. Let's put that away. And somewhere under here, I wonder what I did with that piece of yellow height. Now this is the way round it goes. Does it work? Or would you look at that? It does. Trains are going to miss it at the back. We're far enough away at the front. Where am I concerned about? A little bit here. I think we can shave that off a little. Now, was I right with this? I don't know. Is this the right height? We need something a little higher than that. I'll find a piece that is a couple of inches higher than that. I've found a piece of suitable wood. I've got this in the right place. A little bit of trimming to do. How am I going to stop it moving around? I'll show you. These are those pins that hold shelves up. And what I'm going to do is drill a hole through the base of the hill and into the baseboard and just pop a couple of those in, so that'll stop this. Now at this point it's all fairly heavy duty construction. I just want to put it in the right place. And then we'll put one here and one there. And I'll drill those away from the layout so that we don't get sawdust everywhere. So we're back now. I've got this to the point where it locks in. That's not going anywhere. And I've cut some bits of wood which I'm now going to have to mark. Let's get a marker. These are very rough, but they will do. How about the other way around with that one? We'll stay there, so we're on the wood. I didn't want to go all the way to the end. We can run this in there. So I'm going to mark. And then marker. Oh, that's not right either. It's got to go that way. There. I'm just making sure at the other end here, it will be very easy for the end up here to stick out over the end of the corner. The corner's there. Ooh, that's tight. So up to the corner on the back edge. And then from there, needs some shaping going on. That's one. There's two pieces over here. One there. It's a bit ragged. And one there. It can go there or there. I could cut it in half and make it do both. But why don't I do that? We'll compromise and hold it there. And then this one's easier. Needs a notch in it. Is that actually on? It isn't. Now we're going to attach those three pieces and then we'll fill in the gaps. I don't like that it's level at the top. We could come along and that there especially is very close. Do you see this? Very close to the track. So we're going to cut that back a bit. And then this one needs rounding. So a little bit of work to do. Needed to cut those back there to get it away from the track, as it were. All right. And then at the other end, over here. And if I actually do follow the lines I've marked, we'll be all right. That's quite a bit of cutting to do. All right, let's get on with it. So this is what we end up with, 3 rugged bits of ply standing on end on a baseboard. Why the overkill in engineering? All I'm going to do is glue them on there. Couple of reasons for doing it this way we'll get into as we build, but then all I've got to do is fill in this piece, and I can lay it on its back to do that, which you can't do if you don't have a back. I don't want anything sticking out into the path of oncoming trains, and I do need something to attach to, but just a bit of glue along the bottom of each of those, and I'll leave it to dry for a day. Now then, you've heard me saying I grew up in Kent where there was chalk. So why am I not using chalk? It always looks like you haven't finished something. But this is very non-Kent. But look what I found this morning walking the dog. Had a bit of a storm go through, and so there's some big old pine trees around. So what I've done is picked up some bits of bark. Now this stuff, I've got a little, if you know what the bag is, just be quiet, all right? I said I was out walking the dog. So I don't have enough to make a whole cliff face out of it, but I do have quite a few nice chunks. Do you see what I mean? So if I gather a little bit more of this over the next day or two, do you see how it works? I'm stacking it up there. It really does look like you've got a rugged rock. You've even got moss on it. Now, because you can turn it on its back, so if you can imagine this that way up, you can put glue and paint and grass in there when it's laying that way up. And when you turns this way up, it looks like you meant it. We got a lot to do before then. It's just a new technique. I've never done this before, and I thought, why not give it a try? I'm walking the dogs later, so now that I know that I need about 3 times. So I need three blue poo bags full of the stuff. Yes. Now I have used that before. There we go. There's a piece up there I showed you the other day, and right in front of here, underneath this, there is a piece down there, so it sort of will tie in with that, won't it? The last time I saw the rocks at Tunbridge Wells, or is it Tunbridge even? Tunbridge Wells, I think. I don't know what they're made of even, but I remember them being there, so they're Kent. This is close enough. So just got to get that glued in place. I'm just using a good strong wood glue. It's PVA. It's probably the same stuff I use for everything else, but that says wood glue on it, and so that's what we've got. The marks are simply so that I know I've got it in the right place, that was all. So that needs to set. This really needs to dry out a bit. It dries out remarkably quickly. It is, you sometimes find creepy crawlies running around in it, but it's, especially because it's a rotten tree. But it's a pine, so they grow quickly. Before I start putting that on, though, I will paint the whole thing brown. So I'll get this off of there so it doesn't stick to any drips of glue. But you get the idea. Yeah, I got a splinter. I will clear up the track and get something running. I'm at work tomorrow. It's the weekend. I don't know what day it is for you, but for me, this is Friday afternoon. I should be looking forward to a weekend, but I'm working tomorrow and Sunday morning. I am then off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So by the time I get back to this, it'll be dry. Now then, I do need to do a bit of reprogramming. Nothing more frustrating than having to do things twice. We had a little computer glitch the last time, you might remember. My own fault. We never learn though, do we? Speak for yourself, Ian. There we go. Past a red or signal at danger. I just saw another one of these for sale. I was so tempted, but I've got to stop that nonsense. Dusty roof, hasn't it? Well, let's park it and get the roof dusted. Now, while I say my grandfather used to work on the mail trains, my grandmother on the other side used to live in Ramsgate and would clean these things. So grandfather and uncle on my father's side worked on the mail trains, and my grandfather on the night mail. Grandmother cleaned carriages in Ramsgate sidings, and my father worked on the underground for a while. So they're quite a, I was going to say a railway heritage family. Not really. They were just looking for work, I think. Now then, having allocated a new locomotive to the layout, Blackmore Vale, we're going to run it back to where it started and see what it does. I remembered some of the settings so that it wouldn't take off like a dervish. I also want to see what happens when it comes up the hill. Will it go wrong side running or not? Or have we lost that as well? Yes, we've lost that as well. It's one of the things about computer programs, you do need to save your work. I feel like a real numpty for not having done so. We are going to have a little look, see what it does when it gets here. Should stop in the right place at least. It hasn't. We've lost that as well, have we? No, it's still creeping in. A little bit of tinkering, and we'll see what happens. It should come across here because it's going up the incline, which is... This looks like a double track main line. That's the reversing loop. That's the incline. Well, not quite true. That's the other end of the reversing loop. This splits into the reversing loop. So if it went that way, it would come back here. Should go straight on this time. It did. Intentionally sending on exactly the same route so that we can see where does it stop this time. Now this time we want it running the correct side once it gets up the incline. So this time, instead of going there, it should have come across here. We'll have a look, see. It's on its way. Yep. It's interesting that it has not yet got a feather. I don't think it needs one. Shouldn't, but it will come down the incline on the correct side this time. The feather should be an exception rather than the rule. Now the only other thing I've done is had a little play with the stopping distance on that block, so we'll see what it does. Yeah, it's still stopping way back there, so it may be programmed to stop center of train rather than the head of the train. But yeah, we're on the right track. It's interesting the number of times you have to run things to get them set. All of this while glue sets so I can make a hill to go there. Well, that looked rough, didn't it? That was rough enough for me to look, see is there something on the track even. Now, isn't this interesting? The last time, I haven't done anything different. The last time it was a straight on. This time it's got a right feather. So the computer is set to randomize somewhat, but interesting that it's done that this time. And there it comes across the wrong side before crossing back, presumably here. Still abruptly stopping there. Must have a look at that. That's got to be the section rather than the train. Let's see if it manages this junction better this time. Yeah. I wonder what the last time was. It'll be interesting to see what happens here this time too. Oh, straight green. And we'll see what happens here too. I'm expecting it to come a little bit further. It hasn't. Isn't that interesting? Exactly the same. Huh. Now, Mr. Blackmore Vale, what are you going to do? You're going to inch your way all the way forward, aren't you? Well, that's one way to do it. It's an enjoyable way to pass an hour. It's stopping in the right place. It just needs to speed up a little bit while it does it. The speed ramp, I think, is a little slow, and it's being asked to go slow. So lots of little parameters. I'm not going to get too far into it because I know the moment I put it on the programming track and change the CVs to what I want them to be, that'll all change. But I do need to program that section, that platform, so that all the trains stop in the right place. Lots of profiling and speed profiling and all that good stuff to do. I know some of you don't like automation. That's what I have. Let's make it work. Another video up here somewhere. Thanks for watching. Really do appreciate you all. And for the members, thanks so much. It really does make a difference. Thank you now.